Well, an NPO is threatening to take the National Prosecuting Authority to court. Accountability Now wants the court to force the state to investigate and try high-profile cases that have been dragging on for years. These cases involve names like Jacob Zuma and Jacob Zuma, Michael Masuta, Becky Cele. It's also proposing a constitutional amendment giving the NPA further independence from the Justice Ministry. Well, Advocate Paul Hoffman is the director of Accountability Now. Let's find out how the NPA has responded to its call. Paul, thank you for joining us. What exactly are you proposing, and how would you test whether the NDPP, Shamila Batohi, has acted with unreasonable delay?
Good morning, Annika, and good morning to your viewers. Thank you for the opportunity. The situation at the moment is rather fluid. Since we wrote in September, setting out our stand in relation to the inability of the Criminal Justice Administration to do its work, we have seen the NDPP, Shamila Batohi, appear in Parliament and plead for greater independence than she currently enjoys. And we have also received some feedback, not substantial, but some feedback in relation to our suggestions around the creation of a specialist body to deal with serious corruption. That's what we call the Chapter 9 Integrity Commission, but you can call it what you like as long as it fulfills the functions that the Criminal Justice Administration seems to be tripping up on at the moment. The word on the street is that on Monday next week, the National Director of Public Prosecutions will be holding a press briefing in which ours and other matters that have been pending for years. I mean, some of our cases go all the way back to 2013. And we hope that some constructive progress will be made when that press conference is held, and in the near future in relation to the amendment of the law so as to better capacitate the Criminal Justice Administration to work in a way that is effective and efficient, particularly against corruption.
Paul, I mean, I think Section 237 of the Constitution says that the NDPP has got to comply with their constitutional obligations. But when you're dealing with corruption cases, there's so many moving parts. You've got independent forensic auditors. You've got to deal with the hawks. You've got to deal with requests for mutual legal assistance, for instance. How are you going to fast-track those cases, or make her fast-track those cases when she's probably struggling with really stretched resources?
Yes, certainly Section 237 talks about complying with obligations diligently and without delay. I think the truth is that the NPA has been hollowed out during the state capture years. The capturers of the state carefully planted a whole lot of agents, or what Hermione Cronje calls saboteurs, in the ranks of the NPA. And the purpose of them being there is to see to it that nobody is held to account, and that the corruption with impunity that was the hallmark of state capture is simply allowed to continue by sabotaging the attempts of forensic accountants and honest prosecutors to bring the corrupt to book. That is why we are suggesting the workaround solution of creating a new institution that specializes in this heavy corruption work. As you know, the corrupt will always brief senior counsel to take a zillion points against the prosecution, and it's therefore necessary to have a well-prepared case that is in the hands of experts, which is simply not the position at the moment, because the NPA is under-resourced and crippled by the saboteurs in its own ranks.
I mean, Shamila Batohi can't take a case to court that's not at least winnable in her view. Paul, what kind of interface have you had with the NPA? And yes, you're right, Batohi will have a media conference to update us on Monday at 10 o'clock.
Yes, we haven't had a substantive response to the specific queries that we've raised. Our suggestions in relation to reform have simply been noted. That's the expression that they used. And we've been promised the responses on a case-by-case basis once the National Director of Public Prosecutions receives report backs from the various prosecutors who are involved in the various cases. There are quite a few of them. Some of them are really quite new, as you said in your intro. We've asked them to give attention to what the Zuma twins were busy with their thumbs prior to and during the unrest in July. But others are very old. The eNCA case is 2013. The dispensing of the services of the previous National Director of Public Prosecutions, a case that goes back to 2015. So it really is quite a wide range of cases that we're talking about. And it's to be hoped that the necessary reform and the necessary go forward eventuates, because South Africa is not going to get onto a healthy economic footing while people hesitate to invest in this country because there is this fear that the corrupt are actually in charge and that the criminal justice administration and the rule of law are not holding.
All right, thank you so much. And the Office of the National Director of Public Prosecutions, Advocate Shamila Batohi, as we said earlier, has announced that she will provide an update on NPA matters on Monday.